Have you struggled with bending and it feels like this? Can you bend but it often sounds like this? Well, in this video I'm going to show you how to bend with these and sound good doing it. Hi, I'm Nick and welcome to today's video. We are going to be covering the basics of how to bend notes. Bending notes sounds really cool and it's one of the unique things that the guitar can do. It's the only way we can make piano players jealous. When it comes to bending on the guitar, a lot of people struggle to bend well. This is due to it being quite physically demanding on the instrument. What usually happens when you first learn to bend is that because you don't have the strength, it really hurts when you try and bend with that third finger. Another thing that happens is bending to pitch is often quite difficult too. You have to learn to bend accurately to gain the right pitch. We will focus on how to do that later in the video. There are many different types of bends that us guitarists use. But in this video we will focus on the technique to give you an understanding of how to bend accurately. Bending notes is a technical thing that a guitarist can master. And having the right technique can avoid obtaining injuries. And I'll show you the correct technique that will solve most of these previous issues. There are several components that go into bending correctly. The first component is holding the guitar correctly with whichever hand you're using. So just get the guitar. By that I mean the thumb should be over the neck and acting like an anchor point. So what you want to be doing is having with the same hand, having a turning motion like you're opening a doorknob, so like this. And on the guitar it looks like this. So you keep your thumb still, but you have your other fingers aiming for that thumb as you're turning the wrist. So your wrist needs to be nice and relaxed. All of this handles the position of where your hand should be when you're bending. But now we should get on to the fingers. When you're first learning to bend, the best technique that you can do with your fingers is to have all three fingers on the same string to support the finger that's bending, like so. The reason why you do this is because when you first start bending, you don't have that finger strength to be able to push up the fretboard to get that note that you need. So you use the other two as support to take on the weight and pressure and torque of the string. We keep the thumb over the neck because this is useful for things like vibrato and other types of bending. It makes it easier so that you can shake the note on the guitar. All of this is the basis for understanding the correct technique when bending notes. But an issue still remains, and that is, after we have learnt the correct technique, we need to learn how to bend to the correct note and to bend with purpose. At first, when you start learning how to bend, as mentioned before, you don't have the finger strength, so it might sound a little off and you won't be able to bend to the right pitch. But good news is that we've got an exercise just to fix that problem. I'll show you a quick example to follow. First, you pick the note that you want to bend to away from the starting note. In this instance, we are bending on the 7th note on the G string. We're only going to do a half a step bend, which in this case means 1 fret. So we play the 8th fret first to get familiar with how it sounds. Then we get the 7th note on the G string like we had before, and we bend it up to that 8th note and see if we can match that note that we heard earlier. These small bends are useful for adding like an inflection onto the end of a phrase, or maybe it's sort of like a way of expressing yourself to finish a phrase. Next we are bending up 2 frets or a whole step bend. We go back to the 7th fret on the G string and now we're bending up to the 9th fret on the G string. We take the same approach as before, but this time we're playing the 9th fret first instead of the 8th fret. And then we bend from the 7th fret up to the 9th fret and try and match what we heard from what we heard on the 9th fret. This is how we get accurate pitching. This is a good way to practice accurate bending going forward. So I strongly advise putting this into your practice routine if you're just about getting used to bending. You can also bend both ways on the fretboard to get the same result. So if we take that bend up to the 9th fret, we can do it upwards and downwards to get the same result. We can do this because we are on the G string. But if we start bending on different strings, we can be limited in the direction of which we can bend, especially on the low E string and the high E string. I'll show you an example of which ways you can bend over the guitar strings. After learning how to bend properly with those steps that I've just shown you, you can progress onto more advanced bending techniques, but they will be in a future video, not in this video. For now, I just suggest that if you've just learned how to bend from this, stick with the device with this video for a bit, and then when you feel more comfortable, progress onto more advanced techniques. And regarding those advanced techniques, if you feel more adventurous and you want to learn more about guitar in general, stick around and subscribe to this channel, and there will be a video that's coming out soon that will go over the more advanced techniques with bending. So if you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next video.